Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to your semi-definitive guide to playing the new pre-alpha combat testing grounds that was just released this week. I'm going to be going through everything to get you completely set up on how to gain access to the testing grounds, how to set up your heroes, and how to play the actual pre-alpha test sampling of the game to come in the future at some point. But without further ado, let's get started. First things first, the testing grounds over here in Serendale are on the top right. So we're going to click on that, and you're going to see your Blub Trainer. And he's going to say, things, Blub should be malleable, like people. But you're going to notice that this is grayed out, and you can't click on it, you can't enter the testing grounds. For that, you're going to need a couple of things. First and foremost, they have it as a sign-in, which you can only do after you get the backstage pass. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the passes, right? In order to do this, you can do what I just did and click on the backstage pass hyperlink right here, and it brings up the power-ups. Another way to get to the power-ups is to go to the jeweler. There's a little power-ups goblin over here. Love this guy. And you're going to notice that we've got a couple power-ups. We don't need quick study. We don't need rapid renewal. We don't got to worry about these whatsoever. But what we do need is the backstage pass. And when you click on the backstage pass, you're going to notice that there is an S-Joule allocation requirement of 50, right? And you notice I got nothing to spend right now. So there's a couple ways to do it. We can either click on deposit right here, and that brings up the deposit menu. Another way to get here is through the jeweler itself, brings up the exact same menu. And what we want to do is click on deposit, and you need at least 50 S-Joule balance right here to make this work, right? So we're going to click on, we're going to put in 50, we're going to click for max days because that's going to give us our 50 S-Joule, right? First of all, we're going to prove it. Wait for that approval to go through. All right, thank you. Love you, network. Then we're going to click on deposit. Thank you, network. And now you can see that my deposited Joule is 50, and my S-Joule balance is also 50, and that is 1/1000th of a percent of the total supply of S-Joule on Serendale 2.0 right now. So after we've done that, we can go ahead and go over to our power-ups goblin, and we can go back over to the backstage pass. This is, again, the only thing we're going to need for the testing ground. And you can see there's still the 50 allocation required, and now we've got an unallocated S-Joule balance of 50. So we can activate this power-up and use all 50. Wait for that pending to go away. And voila, we got our little sparkly jewel indicator telling us that we've got our power up. We got our 50 out of 50 allocated, and we're good to go, right? So next we'll go back over to the testing grounds. You'll see the combat testing grounds over here, again on the top right. Click on your Blub Trainer, still grayed out for the testing grounds. The reason for that is because now we have to sign in, and the only way to do that is this little teeny tiny hyperlink right here. You got to click sign in, and it's going to bring up this whole little thing. I believe you can actually get here in account management as well, so that'd be a nice little quick sheet right there. You can sign in, I think, at almost any time as well. So you can click sign in, and this is just saying that you're throwing out a signature to be signed in for this two-step process. You're going to get 2 signature requests. Bam. Now that we're signed in, our only option is to sign back out. And look at that. Boom! We got our combat testing grounds unlocked and open. Now we've got a lot of disclaimers here. The big thing to consider is anything and everything is subject to change. Please, when you get to this portion, take some time, read through it, make sure your expectations are managed. Now you can see little bullet points here, what to expect and what to not expect. This is unfortunately not on mobile at the moment, and status effects do not work, but we'll get more to that soon. So we can click on continue, and then we've got our positions to be filled. DFK combat is all about 3 units versus however many units are on the side. PvP is going to be 3 units versus 3 units. But we're going to go ahead and start with our back position first, which we want our back line to have either some sort of ranged or some sort of healing. So we'll go ahead and throw a priest in there. And now that I've already selected our back, the middle position is next, so we can select either one of these. But I want our knight to be in front of our ranger. So we're going to throw that in there, and then we're going to throw our knight in the front position. I've got all 3 allocated, and we're going to click down here and continue. Now, you can see that I've already got some abilities already populated in here. Thankfully, the testing grounds saves whatever you last did. And you can see I've already got it fleshed out here. But in order to add abilities, you need to click on the plus sign underneath your heroes here. And then while this is up, you get like a little nice stat block. This is what's on the back of the card. You can see our final calculations for a couple of things. You got physical defense here. You've got your evasion chance, your block chance. There's a lot of things to consider here, especially when choosing your heroes, right? So when you got a frontline tank, you want that physical defense high, you want that evasion rate high, you want that block chance high, and we got spell block below that. There's a lot of different stats here. We aren't 100% sure what the REC and the SER are at the moment, but we got pretty good ideas on just about everything else. And if you want more information on any of these theories, please head on over to the DFK Discord into PvP discussions, and we'll all be happy to weigh in. I'm usually in there a lot. But for setting up your abilities, you look at your tiers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is all what's available right now. It doesn't matter what level your heroes are at the moment. Any level hero can select all 15 levels worth of skill points, which is tiers 1 through 5. And when you mouse over them, you're going to get a little hover text box display that tells you exactly what the ability does. Since this is a knight and I want some extra defense, I'm going to click 5% evasion, or endurance, rather. 5% effective endurance while in combat. We got, for honor, reduces ranged physical damage, reduces physical damage in general, and you can see that this is a, 0.06 of endurance, which we have 11, right? We got for valor, which reduces physical damage taken equal to 1/10 of your endurance. So this will reduce physical damage by 1% for me, or 1.1% for me, because it's 0.1 times endurance. You got for the king, which is a passive which increases strength and endurance by 10% each. So for me, that would be an increase of 2.2 strength and 1.1 endurance, respectively. So I'm going to go ahead and select that one. I like that one a lot. Next up, we've got our tier 3, Forever Vigilant. It's got a lot of effects attached to it, right? We got deal damage to target equal to 1.1 times your basic attack, which everybody gets a basic attack, and that calculation is currently secret. But we will someday pry that information out of the team. But for now, this is just doing a 1.1 times whatever your basic attack would normally be, and it's got a daze attached to it. It's got a buff where all allies gain 50% resistance to daze for 3 turns. And then we have a combo if For Honor is active, all allies gain 80% resistance to daze for a duration of 3. But you'll notice I don't have For Honor selected, so I'm not going to get that one. Rather, I'm going to get Iron Will, which does almost the same thing damage-wise. Well, it does do the same thing damage-wise. It's 1.1 times a basic, and this one silences an enemy for 1 round. All allies gain a 40% resistance to silence for 3 rounds, and it combos with if For the King is active, allies gain 70% resistance to silence for 3 rounds, right? So I want to get that combo activated and try that combo, and luckily I've already got For the King active, so that's an easy pick right there, right? So moving on to tier 4, we've got Interception, which just does the same damage as a basic attack, and it redirects 50% of all physical damage dealt by enemies in P1, which is the frontmost character on the enemy team, to this hero for the remainder of battle, which is pretty cool. We've got Battle Ready, which gives you a 10% block chance and increases basic attack damage by 20%. I believe increasing basic attack damage actually does increase all of the formulas where you see these, 1.1 basics or this 1.0 basics. I believe this applies to all of those calculations as well. And then we got Ironclad Defense, which reduces physical damage taken equal to 20% of your endurance. Right, so we got 0.2 times our endurance. So right there, it would be around 2% from enemies in P2 and P3. Kind of if another iron ability is active, it's changed from 0.2 endurance to 0.3 endurance. Now, for me, 0.3 endurance means an addition of 3.3 endurance. I'm not really into that right now. I think that's a little bit too low. So I'm going to go ahead and get the 10% block as well as the 20% extra attack damage on basics. So then we got our capstones here. We've got Royal Guard, we've got Shield Smash, and we've got Iron Shield. All of these deal damage? No, only one of them looks like it deals damage. So our Iron ability is Activate to reduce physical damage taken by 20% for 4 turns. It's pretty cool. Combo of another Iron ability is active, reduce damage taken by 30%, and it can't be pushed or pulled. This would be fantastic. If status effects were working right now, I'd be all about that, but they aren't. This one reduces physical damage taken by 15% and redirects all status effects targeting ally in P2 to this hero for a duration of 4. That's awesome. I love this ability. However, status effects aren't really working right now. So I'm gonna opt for Shield Smash, which does have a super effect added to it, which is stun the enemy target, but those don't work right now. So I'm just gonna go for the damaging ability instead, which is just 1.1 times our basic attack. So once we've got all of our abilities selected in here, we're gonna go ahead and click Close, and we are ready to battle. So right away we're going to load up. I've got the music muted for right now. It is badass and I love it and can't get enough of it. But as you're going to see, my archer is up first, most likely because it has the most agility out of all 3. And you're going to see the abilities down here in this UI. So with the UI, what you've got is your allies are taking up, I'd say the bottom 2/3 here, and then your enemies are taking up the remaining third of the bottom of your screen. On the right side, we've got turn order. So right now you can see that selected is our archer, who is up first, as you can see by the little green selector, as well as the little glowy green selector on this side. And we can tell up next is going to be my priest, and then after that is going to be my knight. And then on the enemy team, you can see that the archer, priest, and knight are going to be going on their turn order as well. You can switch around and check out all kinds of stuff here. You can click around to your other heroes to see what their stat pools look like, or what their statuses are right now. So you got your HP, you got your MP, you've got your statuses, right? And right now we've got a Blessing of Light, which is 5% effective HP increased in combat from the abilities that we chose beforehand. I believe the same thing goes for the Knight, where we can see our Iron Chivalry, which is the 5% endurance. We got the Strength 10%, Endurance 10%, and we've got Battle Ready, which is our 10% block and our 20% increased basic attack damage. So these are the passive buffs that we gave ourselves while we were selecting our abilities. Now on the other side, we can also mouse over any and every ability or buff or debuff rather that is on the enemy team as well, and we can see all of their HP and MP pools. On top of that, if you're looking for any additional information, which there is a ton of, we've got our little hamburger helper menu over here, which brings up the entire stat block for everybody. You can click on your heroes at the top, and it brings up the base stat blocks and the vitals, and it brings up the abilities you've chosen. In the future, you'll see traits, and you'll see the items assigned, and you can see any bonus effective resistances that you have, right, at any given time. I'm sure this updates whenever there is a buff, which buffs you'll be able to see right here as well. And there's just a ton of information here, along with what you saw on the menu here, the battle menu, in the hamburger helper menu, which I'm trademarking that, by the way, you can see that there's also gear sets, right? So these are the stat block, the vitals and the base stats we saw before we picked our heroes, or before we started battle, and the abilities, we get a little refresher of what's available, what do we have. But on the left, we didn't see this before. This is actually brand new. We've got primary arms and we've got secondary arms. Obviously, the secondary arms are not active yet, nor do we have any gear in which to throw onto our characters yet. This is a little homage of what's to come. Very exciting stuff, especially because we can switch out our sets, and it looks like we're going to be able to hold a one-handed item with another one-handed item, so that could be a sword and a shield, or it could be dual wielding, right? 2 daggers, 2 swords, who knows? But it also looks like those will be able to take up, because these things can be grayed out, it looks like these will be able to be 2-handed weapons as well, and we could swap back and forth between these based on our main class and our subclass. And then it looks like our gear options are going to be a piece of armor, an amulet, and then whatever pet we have equipped as well. And I believe that axolotl is straight silly axolotl team from Workhorse. Good Easter egg. I'm loving it. But this is where you want to come to see any kind of bonus information you want, right? So not only can you do this with all of your heroes, you can also do this with all of the enemies as well. So you can see all the crazy stuff that's going on for your enemies. We could see that the blubs have a variance of around 5 to 8 on all of their stats. It looks like this blub's actually really high level. Look at all these abilities that the blub's got. Got some crazy ones here. I think it just got... I think this blub was able to pick up every ability without any screening. This thing's a little final boss right here. But you can see that we can see his physical defense. We can see his evasion chance is basically nothing. So we should be hitting him all the time. But this is just a really good place to come in and see, like, okay, say they've got a, for instance, right here, they got a 50% daze resistance. They've got 40% push and silence resistance, right? So I would try to not use these effects on this character, right? I would be much more successful if I were to use these on the archer. And as you can see on the priest, it's got 160% resistance to silence, which, I mean, in layman's terms means it cannot be silenced right now, right? I don't know what this priest did, but it's pretty insane. But for the most part, this will be used just for, nerd stats, checking out, strategizing. But without further ado, let's get started with the actual combat here. So over here in the hero UI, we've got utility, which is all coming soon. And you can see we've got arms set swap, which is right here, primary arms and secondary arms, whenever we get to equip weapons. We've got reposition, which will help us move back and forth and reposition our units. And we can pass a turn. All of these are coming soon. None of these really exist right now. But across the board, everyone's going to have abilities. And they have a basic attack. Everybody's got a basic attack, and everybody's going to have basic attack. After everything gets updated and added in, we're going to see items populated down here, and most likely be able to swap out our items or check out a larger item box. And then we'll see our each individual gene traits and be able to mouse over those and check out which ones we want to use. These ones are active, so eventually we'll be able to click on these and use these like any other regular ability. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use multi-shot. And then once you select your ability, you can select your target. And as you can see, the numbers are different for just about everybody here. Right, so we've got a attack with a 78% chance to hit. That'll hit for 141 to 558 with a 4% chance to crit. And this is just a real quick heads-up display. Helps you make decisions really quick. And it looks like the archer takes more damage. So there's 242 damage to 657 damage with a 14% chance to crit. a much bigger bang for your buck than for hitting the knight, as you can see here. For the priest, same deal. We got a better chance to hit by 1%. Our damage is a little bit better than it was for even the archer, with a range of 232 to 673, but our crit chance is only 6%. So if you're a gambler like me, I like to go for my crits, right? We got a 14% chance. That's our best shot. It's not that much of a damage difference. So I'm going to go ahead and select the archer right now. All right, so we got a 661, which is at the very top end of what the possible damage was, and that's basically what happens, right? So your little animation goes off, the ability is cast, and if it hits, you see down here, updated health. We took a huge chunk, about half as much out. Now we're on to our priest, which was second up in the turn order, and you can see now that my archer has gone at the very back of the turn order. Now we've got abilities for our priests, and a lot of these are all heals, and nobody on my team has lost any health, so I'm not going to use a heal. Instead, I'm going to use Holy Wrath, which is a damaging spell, and let's see, 78 to 174, 80 to 186, and we've got 76 to 174. So it looks like it does the most damage on the knight here, because the knight has a lot of physical resistance, but it does not have a lot of spell resistance. So I'm going to go ahead and cast Holy Wrath on the knight here. And that goes off, and we did 146 damage. You can see that updated down here as well. Our knight's up. So what we're going to do here is, like, you can see all of the abilities here that are grayed out are actually the passive abilities, because you can't choose those to cast them. They're always cast all the time, and you can see that down here in the statuses. So our only options here are either to use Iron Will, Shield Smash, or a basic attack. I'm going to go ahead, if this was a normal game, I would be wanting to use this bad boy right here, the stun enemy target. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. As you can see, I can hit the knight. It only does 19 to 43 damage with a 3% chance to crit. That's basically nothing in comparison to what we've seen so far. But you'll also notice that we cannot target the archer or the priest. That is because this has a range of 1, which when you mouse over these abilities, you can see in the right-hand top corner the range value. Same goes for basic attack with a mana cost of 0 to range of 1. This is a mana cost of 10, which is going to be changed in the future with a range of 1. So since this does 1.1 times what a basic attack would normally do, this is just a little bit better to use right now, especially since there's no mana involved. So we're going to go ahead and use Shield Smash. We got our animation going off. We did our 40 damage, and unfortunately... Oh, wait, we got a slow on there somehow. Cool, we got a slow. All right, nice. So priest is using a basic attack. We got repeating shot from their archer, and now their night blood is going, and it looks like they chose Iron Will. And it looks like my archer is taking some damage, but since I used multi-shot last round, I picked a combo where if this hero used multi-shot on its previous turn, it increases the critical strike chance by 30%. Now, I remember that I had the highest chance to crit on the archer, so I'm going to use that and see if I can't fish for a crit real quick. Okay, it looks like most of my shots missed, and only the priest was hit with that 95. Now, I am missing some HP on my archer, so with my priest, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to heal my archer back up. And as you can see, just the same with the damage values, we get a heal value with a chance to critically heal as well. And I've wondered, yes, you do have different percent chances to crit certain targets, and I'm not 100% sure why or what makes you more critical for heals, but this opens up a whole new avenue for questioning when it comes to these team AMAs. But as you can see, we've got a 100% chance on everybody to get this heal, and the value is 95 to 89. Let's go ahead and heal up our archer. All right, it looks like we might be stuck. This has happens a couple times. It's pretty scarce now. It used to happen quite often on the day it came out, but they updated it pretty quick. But I mean, every now and then we get these little snafus. When this comes up, if you end up getting stuck like this, all you have to do is refresh. And it'll return you to whatever turn you were on just before you got stuck, right? So we're going to go ahead and select that heal one more time. And we're going to confirm it on our archer. And just like that, we're unstuck. Bam, 189. Looks like our archer's back up to full HP again. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go again with the shield smash on the Night Blub. And basically we're going to be doing this exact same thing all the way through until we kill everybody, right? All the blubs must be done in order to get our victory here. You can see that the archer used a basic. And their priest is casting swiftness on their archer, which heals for 28 and gives them an agility bonus. All right, it's my archer's turn again. And since we used rapid shot, I've got another series with repeating shot, where a combo if this hero targeted the same target with rapid shot on this hero's previous turn, we get an additional damage equal to 4 times dex for each instance of damage dealt. So I'm going to go ahead and look at that. Look at that insane value. Because I targeted them with rapid shot last turn, this combo is increasing the damage by a ton. See, look at the difference here. We got 128 to 286 on the blub, on the Night Blub, and we've got 175 to 398 on the Priest Blub. But because I used rapid shot on the archer last turn, look at this damage bonus. We got 451 to 1020. That's huge. So I'm going to go ahead and hopefully finish off this archer blub. And we did. We hit it for 1010, and it is out of commission. When anything dies, it's grayed out, and you can see that it's HP is 0, and it is removed from the turn order. So now we've got the blubs in between my priest and my archer. So everybody's full health right now. I'm going to go ahead and cast Holy Wrath. Got 128 damage on that one. We're going to go real quick. We're just gonna keep plowing right into these things. And as you can see, a knight and a priest have different roles from the archer. The archer's main point is to deal damage, and as much damage as humanly possible. As you can see, it's doing way more damage than the other two, and that's because a priest's main job or role is to heal and support, whereas a knight's main job or role is to mitigate damage, be in the way, and hopefully stop anyone from taking additional damage in the future. Which you can see now that the archer blub's gone, no one can reach my backlines. You know, I may do more damage on this knight blub, but this healer in the back just brought him back up to full HP. So I think I would probably do better if this priest blub was knocked out and not keeping this knight alive. So I'm going to start focusing all of my attacks on the priest, and that'll make this game go by a lot faster. Okay, so that one didn't deal any damage right there, and that was because the attack missed. There's no indicator right now for a miss, but if you don't see anything pop up, no damage numbers or anything like that, it just means that it's a miss. So you can see him and got an animation where he got hit, and you got the damage numbers above that, so that was a hit. So we got the priest doing a basic attack. We've got the Night Blood doing Forever Vigilant, which was supposed to stun me. Did it? I can't tell. You can tell down here in the status if you had gotten stunned or not, but we did not. So I'm going to go ahead and use the repeating shot again for that crazy damage bonus because I used rapid shot in the turn before. And look at that, 533. Lots of damage. Since I got nobody to heal again, I'm just going to go ahead and deal damage to that back line. Make sure that they can't heal anyone back up to full. Another miss. And you can see, even though I want to kill the priest first, the Night Blub is doing its job, and I can't hit it with my Knight. Alright, back to square one. But this one's got a little bit less health now. I don't think I need to use the AoE, because that divides the arrows between them and divides the damage up. Rather, I want to concentrate the damage, so I'm going to use multi-shot here on the back line. So we got 122 to 671 damage, and I think if I'm lucky enough, I'll be able to take this priest out. Oh, unfortunately, that was a miss. So we're just going to keep doing what we're doing, and we're going to throw as much damage into the back line as possible. Another miss. Let's shake things up. We're going to use Iron Will. Priest uses a basic attack, and that can only reach the Knight. Alright. Here we go. Second attempt on the multi-shot. Here we go. We totally got this one. Oh, here we go. Another instance. See, it doesn't fix it forever. Sometimes you'll just end up getting stuck in a couple of these rounds. So we just got to refresh one more time. And this is going to be fixed. This is going to be worked out here as soon as possible. When it first released, we had this problem, I'd say, geez, right from the get-go, right? You get 1 or 2 turns in, and this was happening to everybody. So you see, the clock goes right back up to where it was previously, and it's just the turn right before we got stuck. And we still have the same exact values. And bam, we're unstuck. Boom! Look at that. 467. That priest is out of commission. Now, all that means is that we are going as ham as we can right into the Night Blub. It's the only thing standing in our way of a victory screen. But Night Blub does its job by having a ton of health and defense, making it really hard to get around. Uses Hold the Line, gave itself a couple more buffs. Big defensive buffs. So I want this to go by a little bit faster, so I put Hunter's Mark on my archer, and what that does is it makes it so all enemies receive a % additional damage for 2 of its turns based on my luck and my dex. So we're going to throw this on it to hopefully ramp up some damage in the next turns. Oh, an unlucky miss. Priest has been doing a pretty good job pumping some damage into this Knight. Slow and steady. And the miss from our Knight to the Knight. Let's try this. We're going to try a rapid shot, and we're going to go for the combo for repeating shot here soon. And we got something. We got 126. We've got 1,003 health left to go on our Night Blub. We got 90. We're in triple digits. Here we go. All right, we're back up. We got repeating shot. Look at that damage difference. If we get lucky, we see the maximum range of that damage is over how much HP it has left. So if we hit the top end, That means it's game over. We got a hit. Oh, 676. It's still a ton. Still a lot of damage, but that knight's still holding on. Let's see if we can't get a crit. A 4% crit on this Holy Wrath. Ooh. Close. We got 66 more damage left to go. Maybe we can get our knight to crit. 3%. I'm thinking he's going to hang on for one more turn. Yep. Nightblood's doing great. He's holding his own. He's got all those cheat codes with all those extra buffs. So since I don't have a combo anymore, I'm just going to go ahead and throw a multi-shot at it. And there we go. And here you go. Victory. We got our match summary. We can look at everybody's health and mana at the very end. And then we can go back to combat testing. And there we go. We're back out to the Blood Trainer. And we can just rinse and repeat that over and over and over and over and over again. Right? So you just go in and then you'd set up your team. Continue. And look at that. Our abilities that we put in last time have saved. Now, the combat testing area in Serendale is right over here. But we can also do this in Crystalvale. So in Crystalvale, we got the combat testing down here in the bottom left, the opposite of where the Serendale one was, and we got the exact same thing. So you'll notice that the Serendale backstage pass does not apply in this case to the Crystalvale backstage pass. They are different backstage passes. So if you've got heroes on one realm or the other, you can keep them on one realm or the other. But if you want to be testing on both realms, you need to have both backstage passes activated, right? So remember how to do that. We got 50 Jewel now that we're in Crystalvale that we need to allocate. And in order to do that, we just got to click on deposit. This brings up the jeweler. We click deposit. We got 50 because we want 50 and we want the max days. I'm sure we could do something crazy like if we wanted 50,000 for like 7 days. Actually not 100% sure how much. Yeah, right. So if you really want to play, it looks like, well, what do we got to do here? 7,000? Nope. 8,000? Yeah. All right, cool. So it looks like 8,000. If you got the mega whale deep pockets, you can just go ahead and throw in 8,000 jewel for 7 days and get your 50 sea jewel that you need, and not have to worry about your jewel being locked up for 3 years. But in this case, and for this demonstration, I got 50 jewel to throw in for sea jewel, and I'm going to lock it up for 3 years, 1,095 days. We're just going to confirm that deposit real quick. Wait for our pending to clear. There it is. All right, there we go. So now we got a sea jewel balance of 50. We can go ahead and close out of the jeweler. And we can click on this hyperlink again to see our backstage pass. That's all we're interested in. Activate the power up. Wait for the pending to clear. My whole life is pending. Pass the time by watching how many seconds it takes for the pending. There we go. All right, and then the backstage pass lights up. Sweet animation, by the way. And we can go ahead and back out, and look at that. Boom. Combat testing grounds are gold to go. So we don't have to sign in this time because we already signed in on our other or in Serendale. But because this is the same account, see, same WoWE right here, because it's the same account, we are technically still signed in. So now we could go into the testing grounds. I don't know why these are here. Those are not on this server. But we could do the exact same thing with Crystalvale heroes, just like we were doing before. And I'm just going to go ahead and populate some stuff real quick. I want some strength. I want more strength. Let's do that. Give me more attack damage. And we'll go for some more physical stuff. Right? So this is all you needed to do. A little quick rundown. So we've selected our heroes. We got our abilities in. We can click Battle Now. And it just launches the test grounds immediately. And you'll notice here, we got a little different background. We got a different atmosphere. It just looks cooler, but everything is still the same. The blubs will randomize their abilities every single time. You'll see the turn order over here. This time my priest is actually faster than my archer, so the priest goes first. But we've already seen all of this. So if you want to get out of a game early, you can go over here and click this X, but we can also check out, for instance, we'll go ahead and throw a quick Holy Wrath on that archer and miss. I'll go ahead and throw a rapid shot out there and see if we get any hits on this one real quick. So I'm going to show you the battle log. But not before we get stuck and require another refresh. It's a common issue. But I'm sure it'll be fixed soon. So it's replaying the turn we just had. I'm going to go ahead and do it again. We're going to do our rapid shot. There we go. Unstuck. We're shooting everyone. We only hit the priest. But that'll be enough for right now. So we can check out the battle log, and it tells us exactly what happens every single turn. Turns out, look at that. We had a critical strike on our Holy Wrath. Oh, it's because Holy Wrath was used before. Combo activated, increased the critical strike chance to 99% crit chance. It was a critical strike, but we missed. So that would have done a lot of damage. Then you can see we used our rapid shot here. Firing three arrows, randomly targeting 3 enemies. Each arrow is going to deal 39. And damage was changed to 89% after a damage roll. Unfortunately, we missed the knight and the archer blubs, but we did smack the priest blub pretty hard. So if you want to end a battle early, or if you're like, oh geez, I don't want to use these characters, I want to use different heroes, you can just come over here to the X, and you can see, are you sure you want to leave this battle? Current combat test will not be saved, and then you just click leave game, and that's all you do. Bam, you're back out here. You can change out your heroes. You can change out the loadout. You can change any of this out that you like. But all in all, that's all you need to know. Bam. Now you're an expert. Go in, combat testing grounds, throw in as many different combinations as you possibly can, since we only have priest, archer, and knight available right now. There's not many. If you don't know what everything does, don't worry. Not everybody does. We got a bunch of abilities to look through, and a lot of these are going to be kind of hard to figure out right away. If that's the case, head on over to my super speculation rating sheet, where I've got all the archer, knight, and priest abilities loaded up with all kinds of stuff that they do. I've got a rating system based on how well they work with each other. I've not updated this since combat has come out, though. And right here is probably the part where you're going to want to be looking for anything. I put my remarks, and I just break down exactly how these things work and how they're going to interact with the game in the future. And I also do my best to try and hyperlink these things to where the keywords are as well. Right? So combo right here. Now you know what a combo is. We got mechanics and terminology on the second sheet. You can look at all of these. These are mechanics, from status effects and debuffs to just regular terminology that the game uses. I've also got actives and passive traits. So you can take a look at all of these, see exactly how they function. I update them whenever there's new information. But for right now, that's just about everything. If you found any of this helpful, please consider to drop a like on the video, maybe even subscribe, and you can see more content in the future. But until then, I hope you guys have a great time with combat. I'm super excited, and I can't wait to see more. I hope you guys all have a great one. Peace.